When reading new celebrity memoirs and your triggers. I was watching the second episode of a great cop show and I found myself reacting to it emotionally. After a quick think, I realized that the show triggered an emotional response in me. The show was the usual, featuring the good guys, the cops, versus the bad guys, the perps, along with the victims. It was just like those serials on TV that I watched as a kid, like the original Superman, and many others that emphasized truth, justice, and the American way. Then I thought, I do have a trigger in me regarding justice. Why I like to read new celebrity memoirs. When reading them, I think what I enjoy most about them is the writer's struggle and what they had to deal with as a kid, growing up with that influence and how they learned to deal with it or compensate for it. In my case, I did not have justice in my household. My father not only possessed that old world Prussian type of attitude, but also the idea that a child did not possess any rights whatsoever. You would listen and obey. You could not question nor talk back, as your only right was not to speak. And if not necessarily present, your mother or the parent who was not abusive, should you have had the benefit of at least one sane parent. The sad part of my relationship, should I call it that, with my father, is that what usually started with, I pay the bills, you listen, or in the case of Jackie Gleason on the Honeymooners TV show, Ralph Cramden, played by Gleason, would always be stating that he was the king of his castle, which then led to another of his famous lines, very applicable to me, to the moon, Alice, where physical harm was threatened. In my case, it may more often resulted in physical damage than just threats. Reading new celebrity memoirs can be a benefit in discovering your triggers and hopefully learning to deal with them in the best way possible. Writing my own entry to new celebrity memoirs. When writing my memoir, adding to the list of other new celebrity memoirs entitled Once a King, Now a Prince, I cover the aspects of how my own triggers of injustice, betrayal, and other triggers as well. I write about how my survival as a child on a daily level was dealing with the injustice and betrayal of my father, and yes, sometimes even my mother. I can take this one step further by adding that my entire family left me feeling betrayed due to their lack of support and failure to come to my aid. Much of their lack of support, of course, and the obvious turning a blind eye can be attributed to the times. In any case, it still felt bad not to have their support, which was typical of the time I grew up in. When you read new celebrity memoirs, are your thoughts triggered by such things? You're welcome to add your comments at the end of this article. New celebrity memoirs can be a catharsis. When I began writing my own celebrity memoir, and I used the phrase, as I clearly was a celebrity in the business of rock and roll at the time, it started as a difficult past, as I had to dredge up all of those memories that I had as a young child. That is part of the reason that the writing of Once a King, Now a Prince took me over 10 years to complete. But as I wrote, even through many tearful memories and with the many revisions and changes necessary that I had to make to complete my own autobiography, part of that process was dealing with my triggers and the catharsis involved that went well beyond my many years processing them through my visits to various shrinks that I had seen. I ask this question again. Reading for many of us is a process of discovery. Do you find reading new celebrity memoirs valuable in understanding your own triggers?